You love them. Of course you do. But lately, every time you see their name on your phone, something tightens in your chest. You help, you listen, you show up, and somehow you leave every conversation feeling emptier than before. Then you feel guilty for feeling that way. Here's what nobody tells you: that exhaustion isn't a sign you love them less. It's a signal your nervous system has been trying to send you for a very long time. And today, we need to talk about it. In psychology, there's a concept called emotional labor, the invisible, often unacknowledged work of managing other people's feelings. When someone consistently relies on you to regulate their emotions, your nervous system picks up on that pattern quickly. It starts to anticipate the drain before anything is even said. That's why just seeing their name on your screen is enough to make your body tense. Your nervous system has already done the math, and it remembers every single time. But here's what makes this so painful. The people who drain us aren't usually bad people. They're hurting people. The friend who always seems to be in crisis. The family member who calls at midnight. The coworker who never quite resolves their problems, but somehow you always end up solving them. And because you love them, because you have genuine compassion, you show up every single time. This pattern has a name. Psychologists call it a one-sided relational dynamic, and it almost always develops when one person has learned, often from childhood, that their worth is tied to how much they give. If you grew up in a home where love felt conditional, where you had to earn peace, or where you managed someone else's emotional state to keep things stable, your nervous system learned a powerful lesson early. Being helpful keeps you safe. This is not weakness. It is not a character flaw. It was a survival strategy. And it worked until it didn't. Now you find yourself in adult relationships carrying the same invisible weight, wondering why you feel so depleted all the time. And you can't even complain about it because you chose to help. Nobody forced you. So the guilt compounds the exhaustion. Here's what I need you to hear right now. The tiredness you are feeling is not proof that you are selfish. It is proof that you have been giving from an empty place over and over again, without anyone, including yourself, ever giving you permission to stop. Proverbs 4:23 says, "Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life." Notice what that verse does not say. It does not say open your heart to everyone who needs something from you. It says guard it. That word in Hebrew, natsar, means to keep watch, to protect, to preserve. This is not coldness. This is stewardship, and God never asked you to run yourself into the ground for people who have not done the interior work of learning to hold their own pain. There's a second dynamic happening that we rarely name honestly. When someone consistently comes to you in need and you consistently fix it, you are participating in a cycle, not just for yourself, but for them. Every time you carry what is theirs to carry, you remove the very friction they need to grow. Therapists call this enabling. It comes from a beautiful place, from compassion, from loyalty, but it produces painful results for both of you. Ask yourself honestly. Think of the person who drains you most. Have they grown? Has the situation changed? Or are the conversations somehow always the same? Different details, same weight? If nothing has shifted, that is not a coincidence. That is a pattern. And patterns are always worth paying attention to. So what do you do with this? Because the answer is not to stop caring. It is not to cut people off or become someone with walls so high that nothing gets in. That is not healing. That is just a different kind of pain wearing a different mask. The answer begins with something much quieter: learning to distinguish between compassion and compulsion. Compassion is a choice you make from a full place. Compulsion is what happens when you have never given yourself permission to say no without feeling like you are doing something wrong. Here is a question that changes everything. When you help this person, do you feel genuinely glad afterward? Or do you feel relieved that they are not upset with you? That is a crucial difference. One comes from love, the other comes from fear. And if most of your giving is powered by fear of conflict, fear of disappointing someone, fear of what they might think of you, then you are not helping from strength. You are helping from self-protection, and that will drain you every single time. The nervous system cannot sustain giving that is motivated by fear. It is not designed to. Every time you say yes when every part of you wanted to say no, your body registers a small betrayal. Over time, those small betrayals accumulate into a heaviness you carry everywhere. The tiredness you feel is not laziness, it is your body keeping score. Romans 12:18 says, "As far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone." Notice the qualifier, as far as it depends on you. There is a limit built into the command. God does not ask you to sacrifice your well-being, your peace, your health, or your calling in order to manage someone else's life. You are responsible for your own heart. You are not responsible for carrying theirs. So here is what I want to invite you into. Not a dramatic exit from these relationships. A gradual, honest reorientation. Start small. The next time someone calls in crisis, pause before you respond. Ask yourself, is this mine to carry right now? Or am I stepping in because silence feels dangerous? That moment of pause is not abandonment. It is the beginning of a new kind of love. One that is honest, boundaried, and sustainable. Real love does not require you to disappear. It does not require you to hollow yourself out for another person's comfort. In fact, the most loving thing you can sometimes do for someone who is stuck is to stop rescuing them from the consequences of their own choices. Not with cruelty, with compassion, with presence, but without carrying the weight that belongs to them. You are not created to be everyone's emotional oxygen. You are created to love well. And loving well begins with being honest about what you can actually sustain. Your limits are not a failure of your faith. They are evidence that you are human, which is exactly what God made you to be. If this resonated with you, subscribe to this channel. Every week I create content at the intersection of psychology and Christian faith, and I want to keep walking this road with you. You are not alone in this. I left something in the description. It's a simple 7-day path to help you see this more clearly. Just take a look when you feel ready. If this reflection spoke to something inside you, remember this. You are not alone in what you carry. Many people walk through life quietly holding more than others can see. Pressure, responsibility, expectations. But faith was never meant to make life heavier. Faith was meant to remind you that you do not have to carry everything alone. So take a slow breath. Allow your mind to rest for a moment. And remember that peace does not begin when life becomes perfect. Peace begins when the heart learns to trust. If this message helped you today, subscribe to this channel for more reflections on emotional clarity through faith. And if you feel comfortable, share in the comments what this season of your life has been teaching you. Sometimes the most powerful step toward healing is simply knowing you are not walking alone.